Good morning, self-lovers. It's Katie here, and I'm very excited, actually, and pretty astounded to be sending you a video this morning from the most gorgeous place. I've done a lot of traveling in my time, but I've never been somewhere quite as beautiful and as remote and unspoiled and untouched as where I am right now. I'm on the island of Lombok in Indonesia. We're in the very sort of southwest corner of the island, and as you can see behind me, and that's just a little bit of my view right now, the view just goes all the way around. It's amazing. Soak that in for a second, because it's literally, there's nothing there. In that view, there's not one house. It's completely and utterly unspoiled. I hope you can see me. My face might be a bit dark, but and I hope you can hear me okay. It's pretty amazing to be here, and it has taken quite a lot of planning to get here, and not least Lombok was absolutely devastated by a terrible earthquake about a week and a half ago. A lot of people have died, and in fact it brings up emotion just talking to you about it. It's very close to home being here, and speaking to, it's really bringing up the emotion, speaking to the locals here, and yeah, it's terrible what's happened. Only 3 or 4 hours drive north of where we're staying right now, and it's bringing up emotion for me as well, because coming here has required immense levels of self-trust. Immense. You know, yes, there was a lot of planning to get here. We've brought together 5 families from all around the world. We've got a family from Florida, a family from Australia, one who lives in Bali, and a couple of families, including mine, from the UK. And you know, it's taken a lot of logistics and planning to bring us all together to have this experience. We always knew it would be an experience more than just a holiday. And the earthquake that happened, there was a pre-quake, the main quake, and then there has been hundreds of aftershocks that has just devastated the north of the island. Really brought up a lot of massive question marks for all of us around whether it was safe to come. You know, it's not just us as adults. We've got a lot of kids here with us, and you know, you don't want to take your children to an unsafe part of the world, do you? So it has, as I was saying, required me to really dig deep into my self-trust. And I know that a lot of the women that I work with desire to trust themselves. You know, the School of Self-Love has been designed specifically to support women on their journey home to themselves. It's for women who have a sense they don't really know themselves, and they don't have that self-love. And to know and love yourself requires self-trust. It's a really key ingredient. I know it's been a huge part of my journey, learning to trust myself. We need to know and love ourselves to be able to trust ourselves. And it's really brought that up for me on this trip. And I think, and there's a shift around that as well that I want to kind of explain. Most of us desire to trust ourselves from a space of what we think, because we have been taught to do life from our intellect. We've been taught to think our way through life. So it's a very masculine approach. I'm not saying it's wrong, because absolutely we need our beautiful intellect to make decisions. Yes, we do. And there's another way. So the other way is to trust our intuition, to trust the way we feel. And that's the very feminine energy. It's the feminine approach to life, and that's something that most of us haven't been taught. It's something that I've been very committed and dedicated to learning for several years now, particularly the last 2 or 3. And it's something that I do a lot of work with my clients around as well, is to trust your intuition, which is your true self, your authentic self, your spiritual self. And it really is about the balance of both. We need to have the balance of masculine and feminine energy in our life within us. So it's about the balance of trusting your intellect and the balance of trusting your heart and your intuition. And so a lot of women I work with, and this was my story too, they want to trust themselves from a place of trusting their thoughts. When they make a decision from up here, can they trust that decision that's coming from up here? But as you know, when you make a decision, especially as a woman, there's something else at play. Yes, you make the decision from up here, but it also comes from here, doesn't it? You know, it's both. It's trusting your heart. It's trusting how something is making you feel. And to make the decision to do this trip, because, you know, there was a good reason, a good intellectual reason to cancel and not come at all. And I engaged that part of my brain and did a lot of research and reached out to a lot of people and was scouring the internet, and I became best friends with, I think it's called earthquaketrack.com. And so yes, there was decisions absolutely made from my head. The final decision though was made from my heart and what felt true for me and true for our family. And it's not something I can explain, but I knew in my gut it would be okay to come here. So we've only just begun our trip, and I know the north of the island had an aftershock 2 days ago while we were here. We didn't feel it down here. We're nowhere near the fault line, so intellectually I know that's a good thing. And who knows, earthquakes are unpredictable, and we can't like figure that out, right? So far so good, so far we're safe, it's all okay, and I still feel that we've made the right decision, and it feels good to be here. And in fact, and maybe I'll share this next week with you, because I'm still on such a learning curve, a real growth curve actually at the moment, in terms of what this trip is bringing up for us, beyond earthquakes. You know, there's really deep and incredible conversations going on around, you know, put it this way, and I'll show you in a minute, but we are up here in a very privileged position to be in this beautiful villa. It is the only villa on this part of the coastline. There is nothing else here. The people that put this here, it was quite a project on many levels. I was talking to the owner yesterday, and you know, suffice to say that this is all that there is here. Any infrastructure in this area is here because of this villa. There wasn't electricity here 2 years ago. The fact that I'm able to communicate to you through Wi-Fi right now is just astounding. And just down the hill is the village. It's a little fishing village. They have nothing, absolutely nothing. I have never seen happier, healthier, more connected people in my life though. But the difference between us up here in the big white villa on the hill and them down there, and we've been down and we bought a lot of clothes over to donate for the kids. The disparity is immense, and it's bringing up all sorts for us, and I'm processing that at the moment, and maybe I better talk to you about it next week. But back to what I was saying, I know this is becoming a long video, but this is an important message I really, really want to share with you. This, like, going back to the idea of trusting yourself. As something I speak about a lot on my videos and with my clients is the idea that we feel our thinking. So if you've learned to do life from your intellect, and so of course you want to trust your thinking, we feel our thinking. So if our thinking is full of anxiety and worry and concern, we're going to feel that in our bodies. So making a decision from a feeling place feels really compromised and even more challenging, because it's actually coming from a fear-based place. So in order to trust our thinking, we have to do the work, and this is the excuse me, this is the transformational work that we do at the School of Self-Love, and that I do with my private clients. It's about clearing out any belief systems that are sabotaging you living in love, you know, living from a place of peace, from that higher vibration. Then you can trust your thinking, because you can trust that where something's coming from isn't fear-based, it's love-based. And when it comes to making decisions from your heart, that's the piece where, and again, this is transforming limiting beliefs around your worthiness and your enoughness and your lovability, to be able to drop in to the truth of who you are and feel really deeply connected on a soul level to who you are, and be able to trust your instinct, trust your intuition, it's another level of trust. So when I'm talking about, like, I made the decision to come here, yes, I have to trust my brain, but it was more about trusting my soul, trusting my heart, that I'm making a decision from a really, I hope you can still hear me, there's a motorbike going up the hill, moped, the main form of transport here. Yeah, it's about being able to trust my heart and my intuition, and that requires really, really knowing yourself, and you can never really explain that to anybody else. You know, there's plenty of people who doubted us coming here and who thought we were crazy and who thought we hadn't thought it through. And as much as we had, of course, thought it through, the decision, largely speaking for myself, was a heartfelt decision, and I have spent years dedicated to the practice of knowing myself and being connected to the truth of who I am, so that I actually am incapable of making a decision now that doesn't feel good to me. And when I say feel good, it feels good to my soul, and because I'm feeling my thinking, I'm clearing out any sabotaging thought patterns, so that my thinking is coming from a more pure place, from an energy, an energetic vibration of love. So it's all going on. I hope I'm making sense. I'm perhaps rambling a little bit, but I trust that you'll receive what I'm attempting to share with you today. I really, really want to invite you to move into a space of doing life from a place of deep self-trust, and from a place where you're not doing life from your head, but you're doing it from your heart, and that it feels good for you. Life needs to feel good for you, and that feeling comes from really knowing yourself and trusting yourself. It's not all about the head, and we women know this, don't we? We know it. It's like a purely intellectual decision. It's not enough. It feels incomplete in some way. It needs to come from our heart as well. It needs to be a blend of both. And so I guess, I mean, I've had a pretty extreme situation here of having to make a decision to come to a country that's experiencing devastating earthquakes, and to bring my family into that space. It's a pretty extreme decision to have to make. And I couldn't have done it just from my head. Not least, there's no way our brain can intellectualize a decision like that, because it's utterly unpredictable. It is an unpredictable situation here. And so I've had to engage my heart, and it's taken quite some years of commitment to being in a space where I can drop the anxiety and worry, because those of you who know my story know that for years anxiety and worry were my best friend. Now I'm my best friend. My spirit is my best friend. To move from that space to being able to make a very deeply grounded, solid, sure decision that I'm doing the right thing, without having to understand why, without having or being able to explain in black and white why, and hold firm with that in the face of the doubters. That's taken some practice, and it's still a journey, and it's something I am still practicing. And I really want to share that with you today. No matter what decisions you have to make, I really want to invite you to, yes, do engage your brain, do that. An empowered woman does check everything out. Yes, she does do her research. She speaks to people, she jumps on Google, she figures it out, and she knows there's another level to that. And she drops into her heart, and she connects to the truth of who she is, which is where her power is. And she feels into her decisions. It takes practice, and I want to encourage you to engage both. And I want to encourage you to practice the art of hooking into the truth of who you are and making any decision you have to make from that space. And I can't wait to, next week and the week after, my love notes will be coming to you from Indonesia. We'll be moving across to Bali next week. And it'll be interesting to share the journey with you as this continues. And I hope and pray that I've made the right decision. But even as I say that, in my gut, I know that I have. In my gut, this has been an incredible decision, and the children are having what they are witnessing here, what this is opening up in their consciousness is pretty incredible. Witnessing how people are doing life so differently, the different challenges other people in the world have, like the educational experience here. Oh, another motorbike. The educational experience here is something they're never ever going to get in schools, and the conversations that are being opened up here, and the invitation to them to think differently and think out the box, and yeah, it's pretty incredible. So yeah, I feel pretty blessed to be here, and quite proud of myself actually that we've made this happen. Anyway, I've really rambled on this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's been valuable to you. Hope you can see and enjoy the view. And there'll be more coming from me. I'll probably do some Facebook Lives actually in the Self-Love Hub. So if you're not a member, jump in there and let's have some more conversation over there. And I'm sending you so much love. See you later. Bye.